Hi, we are Project Communication, and we are perfectly imperfect.
Hi, I'm Mary.
I'm Sherry. And I'm Linda.
And today we are going to be relating some stories about serendipity. Serendipity is that unexpected blessing when you realize something that you didn't look for. You can find these little blessings anywhere, anytime, and any place, as long as your eyes are open, your heart is open, your ears are open to whatever you find.
Hi, I'm going to reintroduce myself. I'm Linda, and due to technical difficulties, I have to sit up here by myself because my part of the story of the serendipity got lost. So, serendipity, I really struggled with that word, serendipity, but then I thought, oh, it's a blessing. And as I was walking out of the building after our little discussion, I remembered that a week before, or 2 weeks before, I was in Cedarburg with a friend, and we were just going through the different shops. And one of the last shops we walked into, I was drawn to a plaque. And I stood there and I read that plaque and I went, oh God, that is just beautiful. And it touched my heart. But I didn't want to spend the money on it. So a week later, that plaque continued to haunt me. And I thought, I need to go get that plaque. I don't know where I'm going to use it. I don't know where, why, but I need that plaque. And somebody said, well, what if it's gone? And I said, well, if it's gone, it's gone, but I believe it's still there. And I drove an hour and went back for the plaque, and sure enough, there it was. And it was about compassion and kindness. And I read it again, and I just felt shivers all over my body. And before I came in today, I got thinking, what does serendipity really mean? It means a blessing, divine guidance. Follow your instinct. Let that gut feeling guide you. Sometimes logic just takes you into the wrong direction. And when all the pieces that you feel that hasn't fit together, that has just been uncomfortable, and it all comes together, like Sherry's story, that's a blessing. Divine guidance. I don't care what you call it, but appreciate it and follow it. And so thank you for listening.
Yeah, we will include a picture of the plaque. It's out of the shot of the video, but we'll include a picture of it at the end of the video.
Okay. And I just wanted to comment that she didn't want to spend $35 on it, but she did spend an extra $10 in gas to go back and get it. So it's actually now $45.
And it was
so worth it. So, Sherry, you want to share your story?
Oh, sure, I do. Well, I met my biological father when I was about 33 years old. Yep. So I didn't really grow up with him, and I felt like, oh, yeah, I had a good life growing up and everything, but I felt like, I kind of missed, what would I have missed, or what could I have had? But anyway, through the years, after I met him, I got to know him, and he came to stay by us, and we went down to Florida to meet him, and we had some really, really good times, and I got to know him in a way that I could love him in a way that I would not have been able to before. He was a charming cowboy, but he also liked his women.
That's a way to put it.
The last name was Paramore, which means many lovers. It's very fitting. But I would have grown up. Had I grown up with him, I would have loved him and hated him for what that did to me and to my mother, because my mother was a real sweet person. So there's serendipity in that, because I could truly appreciate who he was, and he was funny, and the stories he could tell. He was just a lot, and my mom never hated him, but there's a reason for everything. And then, skip ahead quite a few years. My mother, I was taking care of my mother before she passed away, and she had talked to me about him. And she had said, one of the main things that broke us up was he was with this woman, pretty young girl, named Vera. And that's really was kind of the final straw. And I'm like, oh, okay. And skip ahead again. When my mother passed away, he came for the funeral, which was just kind of a full circle of events, and he was there to support me, and I'm sure I believe she saw that, and I think she was good with that. And the next time, so it was ironic that during this time, this week before her memorial service, he was with me, and we had some of the best laughs and some of the best times. I could always forget my grief. So let's skip ahead again. After so he was there for when, I apologize. So for when he was there for her funeral. And then a few months later, he ended up in the hospital with COVID, and he never recovered. So we flew down in February the following year. How ironic again, he was there for my mother, and then I was there for him just a few months later. So we flew down there, and as soon as I got to I guess I don't know all of them because I didn't grow up with them. She was my aunt. As soon as I got to her house, she goes, your sister is waiting at so-and-so's house, JD's house or whoever. And I said, my sister? Yeah, you'll meet her, Michelle. I'm like, oh, well, how many siblings do I have? I have one in France too, by the way. But anyway, other story. And they're just floating all over. So I go over to the house, and they said, oh, this is your sister, Michelle. I said, well, hi. I said, this is kind of odd. She said, yeah. And I said, so who was your mother? And she looked at me across the island, and she said, my mother was Vera. And I looked at her, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, you're the one. And she kind of started crying. I said, it's okay. I came around and I gave her a big hug. I said, it's okay. I said, I have nothing against you. I have no resentment towards him. I don't have any resentment towards you. None of this is our fault that he was a bunny rabbit, So we laughed, and and then a couple days later, how ironic that was that I was sitting right in front of my father's coffin holding hands with a sister I never knew, the product of their divorce. There's serendipity in that. I don't really see her or talk to her, but I don't have nothing against her, but I felt the need to hold her hand because she was having a harder time with this than I was. And I wanted her to know that I was good. So I think that's all.
I think these experiences were leading up to some, is it resolution?
Yeah.
To what has taken place in your life. And I think for many, many, many families, this is kind of common.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful experience, really. And what can you do? You can be mad and bitter, or you can move on and laugh through it. It was not her fault. It was not mine.
No.
But had I met him earlier, I would have had a harder time with all of this.
Right. So everything was in perfect order.
Right.
So many blessings in that family. And I'm sure there's families out there, young people out there, wondering how, or feeling maybe afraid or angry about the family dynamics, guess what? We're all dysfunctional.
Yeah, they are.
Talk about an unexpected blessing, too.
Yes, yes, yes. It sure was.
Yeah. Well, my story happened just a few years ago. I had been asked to give a very short speech, and for those of you that know me, short speeches are hard. I can talk for a
She
long
talks more than I
time. Short speeches are a little harder, but this was for a community event here in Sheboygan, and I had my speech written the day before, so I was relaxing, watching television. I actually had a program picked out I wanted to watch, and it was about 15 minutes or so before my program came on, but I turned the TV on and settled in, not really paying attention too much to the program that was on. But the program that was on was talking about the anniversary of the shooting at the Sikh temple of Wisconsin in Oak Creek. There had been, I think, 10 people killed in that shooting. And they were talking about how they were going to mark the anniversary of the shooting. And they spoke to several of the survivors and family members of the people who had died. And I became fascinated by the people, what the people had to say. And hearing how they chose to honor and remember their family members, and the healing and the love that they shared, not just for their family member, but also for their community. They were planning a meal after the remembrance ceremony, and they spoke to a man, the son of the man who was the head of their congregation, and he shared the text of a blessing that they speak at every gathering at the temple. And the words just knocked me off my feet. I could hardly breathe. It was amazing. And from that moment, I forgot about the program that was coming up that I wanted to watch, the original program I planned to watch. I threw away the words that I had planned to speak the next day. I took out a paper and pencil and started writing a totally new speech to give the following day for the event. And I was just, the next half hour was transformative for me. And I've written down so I don't forget what he said. The new speech reflected the idea of serendipity. My ears, my eyes, my heart was opened at that time to what this greeting, what this blessing was. It's called the Chardi Kala, and it says, for the peace and prosperity of the whole human race, we shall be relentlessly optimistic. I hope it lives for a while in your mind and heart as it lives in mine. Thank you.
And I think that goes back to show that even in disasters, even into the turmoil, even at that particular moment, you feel the rage, you feel the anger, you feel the deep pain, and go ahead and feel it. But remember, from out of the ashes we shall rise. And we do rise. And there is humor in things. You know, you look back and it wasn't humorous then, but it's kind of funny now how it all took place.
Right.
Yeah, there were so many stories of how lives were spared. One family told the story of a little girl forgot her notebook to bring to the gathering that day at the Sikh temple. So they drove back home, and the whole family's life was spared. And if that's not serendipity,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Makes a difference to the
Yeah,
whole family.
it does.
Mhm.
It really does. And so in the moment, it, like I said, it may hurt. And sometimes you know it is what it is because your heart skips a beat and you go, oh my God, you know, joy can be found everywhere, and it can be found in the ashes.
Yes.
Joy is resistance. You refuse to succumb to it. And I think forgiveness was a key issue
Yes,
in that,
Yes. Yeah.
that they were able to, through something so horrible, rise above that and find forgiveness and remain relentlessly optimistic.
Right.
So,
In our question for you, we always like to end our podcast with a question for our viewers. Our question for you this time is for you to think about a time when you experienced an unexpected blessing. Did you have a time when the universe coincided, and came together to give you a blessing that you didn't expect? That butterfly that landed on a flower that you were looking at, you came to see a violet that was growing in a crack in the sidewalk, a phone call from a friend, a song on the radio that you needed to hear the lyrics at that particular time in your life,
Yeah.
some unexpected blessing. And if that happened to you, please share them in the comments.
Because we want to hear from you. We want you to be a part of this with us. We want to help with all different topics. We want to, so please share.
communicate.
Yeah, please communicate back with us.
Yes, because we are
Project Communication.
and we are.
Perfectly imperfect.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to share, and to like.
And spray sunshine.
She's got to stop that.
Her aim's getting better with this one. Thing.
I didn't look.
No, but you just started. I'm going, oh God, here it comes.
Did I miss you?
No, you didn't miss me.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
We're all beads on one string. Every man, every woman, boy and girl. Beads on one string. We're one world. I touch, you touch. We feel so much. We hurt and we heal. We know love is real. You dream, well I dream. We plan, sometimes scheme. Oh, how we love to eat. And everyone has to sleep, 'cause we're all beads on one string. Every man